Most businesses don't fail because they aim too high. They fail because they aim too low. You know, many small business owners work hard. We all agree. We work hard. The problem is many set their goals way too low. I've talked about this many times on this show. Then they wonder why others in their market, in their mixed group, in the area, whatever, on Facebook, on some social media, why they're growing so fast or why they're growing faster, why are they scaling bigger, and why do they win? Why are they winning? I've talked to several business owners over the last few weeks where they have hit a plateau, whether it's 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, and they've hit that lid and they are stuck there. And they don't know how to get past that. Matter of fact, many of them have been stuck there for a couple years. They just can't get past that lid that they've basically put on themselves. But we'll talk more about that here soon. So if you're not uncomfortable, your bar is too low. And if you're not aiming high, you're wasting time. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey, this is Greg McAfee, and welcome to the Greg McAfee Show. Now let's get started. All right, welcome back to the Greg McAfee Show, where we discuss steps to successful entrepreneurship, how to take your business to new heights, and ultimately follow your dreams. Today, we're going to be talking about why most business owners set their bar too low. Number one, low aim creates low results. People set goals based on comfort, not potential. I'll give you an illustration. If we could just make payroll this week, that's too low. I've been there where I didn't know I could make payroll or not. But my goal was much higher than making payroll. They plan around fear and not possibility. Get fear out of your head. If you expect to fail, you'll probably fail. So quit fearing failure. And they also aim for survival instead of success. Now, here's a few more examples. If I could just grow 5% this year, 5% is too low. Raise your bar. I'm not going to tell you what it should be, but 5% is too low. If I could just get through this year, then next year I could start over and we could do this, and this. Too low. Get back, start over. Okay? You never accidentally build something great. It just doesn't happen accidentally. It's got to be on purpose. If your goals don't scare you a little bit, they're way too small. Small thinking creates what? Small actions. Think small, get small. All right, stay with me because I'm going to tell you what changed my perspective on smaller thinking real soon here. But small goals lead to small decisions. Small goals lead to small risk-taking. Small goals lead to small effort. And small goals lead to small growth. So you can't think small because you become small. You've got to think bigger. Meanwhile, on the other side of that, big goals force better thinking. Big goals demand systems in place. Big goals require discipline. It takes discipline to grow and scale a business. It is not easy. You can't, like I said earlier, you can't accidentally do stuff and grow. It doesn't work that way. You've got to be purposeful. You've got to be disciplined. You've got to control your effort. Big goals force you to become somebody new. Big goals force you to do things outside your comfort zone. All right, now's a good time for me to talk to you about a coach I had, and I've told you I have had several coaches over the years. I started off with a coach, second year in business or so, and then I've got a better coach and a better coach and a better coach and a better coach and a better coach, and I look at them as sponges. They're sponges, and I drain them, everything I can get out of them, and then I get a bigger sponge and a bigger sponge. All right, but I had it midway through, I had a coach named Phil. Phil was number one in his market in the whole state of Ohio. So I was very intrigued by that. Phil gave me a challenge, okay? Because remember, big goals force you to become someone new. I told Phil I needed to hire a certain position. And then as we were talking, I said, I really need to hire this person or this position too. And actually, I need to hire this position. So Phil said, you're going to hire all three of them. Quit fooling around, Greg. You're thinking small. So he basically said, here's what we're going to do. To save time here, we came up with the number $10,000. If you got rid of $10,000, would that affect you? And I said, if you gave $10,000 away to someone you didn't want to have it, would that affect you? I said, yes. He said, okay, we got $10,000 on the table. You're going to write a check to me. I'm going to hold the money, $10,000. When can you have them hired? We came up with a date. I don't know what it was, 60 days, something like that. If you don't have those three people hired, those three positions filled in 60 days, I'm going to send this $10,000 to someone you don't want to have it. And I already figured up who it was. But if you make that goal and you hire those three people, you and your wife have to take the $10,000 and either go on a trip, go buy something, do something you want to do. Challenge accepted. Done. The 59th day, I hired the third person. I got my $10,000 back. My wife and I did something special. So I have challenged people the same way. And I get very few people who want to have that much skin in the game to hit a goal. It blows my mind. I was all over that. I said yes. I probably would have done it for 15 or 20 grand. I don't know. But that was the challenge. Big goals force you to become somebody new. If you don't increase your goal size, you will always be the same size. If not, you will decrease in size. All right. So we didn't start or buy our companies here by playing it safe. None of us did. You didn't start your company playing it safe. You took a risk. Why aren't you taking more risk today? That's my question. Growth came when we raised our standard and we took a risk. Point number 3. Most people aim low to avoid failure. What do you mean by that, Greg? What type of failure? Fear of embarrassment. If I set my goal too high, if I aim too high and I fail, I'll be embarrassed. Well, big deal. I've been embarrassed many times. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me. If I fail, I fail. I learn from it and move on. Well, I got news for you guys. There's no being realistic growing a business. There really isn't. You're the leader. You've got to take a risk. Sometimes it's risking your capital. Sometimes it's risking your reputation of being embarrassed. Sometimes it's being wrong, but you've got to take a risk. That's your job. If you don't take a risk, your company either stays the same or it goes downhill. It's up to you, but you've got to take a risk. Playing small doesn't protect you from failure. It does this. It guarantees you regret. You will regret playing it small the rest of your life because you'll probably end up going under. Some of you that I'm talking to today have already had a business that went under. You know what it's like. And you can probably give me a million excuses why it went under. But if you were the leader, it was your fault. I don't know if you played it small. I don't know if you played it big and failed. Who cares? There's always another opportunity. I was watching something the other night, and it was a business person who had failed multiple times. And they just kept going. And they just kept going. And they just kept going. They went bankrupt twice. They failed 3 or 4 times. And then they ended up having a very successful career. So it's not over until it's over. And hear this, you guys. I have missed a big goal, but I still landed further than those who never aimed. I aimed for this big goal. I didn't hit it, but where I hit was above everybody else who didn't have the goal. Okay? Think about it. Now, today, I want to highlight someone you may or may not have heard of. His name's Brad Garlinghouse. And Brad Garlinghouse today is the CEO of Ripple. And he's an American tech executive, CEO of Ripple Labs, a blockchain and crypto company focused on global payments. He joined Ripple in 2015. He was the COO. A few years later, he became the CEO. My opinion, one day, he's going to be known as the best CEO in the world. Just my prediction. Knowing what I know today. Before Ripple, he held leadership roles at major tech firms like Yahoo, AOL, and he was the CEO of Hightail. He holds a BA in economics from the University of Kansas and an MBA from Harvard Business School. Here is Ripple's acquisitions in the last 5 years. Ripple has been actively acquiring companies to build broader financial infrastructure for many years. And the total acquisitions from 2020 to 2025, and I think they've had a few more actually this year, are to build broader financial infrastructure. So they're building this infrastructure like no other company in crypto. And they have purchased Hidden Road, GT Treasury, Rail, Standard Custody, and Medico. In summary, in the last 5 years, they have made several major strategic acquisitions, roughly 5 to 8 deals to expand beyond payments into custody, stablecoins, prime brokerage, and treasury services. Brad is ahead of his time. Now, I'm going to tell you how he thinks right now. And then we're going to get back to the show. Because if you understand the CEO of one of the largest crypto companies that has to do with crypto, blockchain, the new way of financial structuring, if you understand how he thinks, you'll see why this show, this topic today is so important. And here we go. All right. Brad Garlinghouse is very clear on this. He said, if we're not failing a little bit, we're not trying hard enough. His leadership philosophy is simple. Safe equals stagnant, risk equals growth, and comfort equals irrelevance. He believes real progress only happens when leaders are willing to push past uncertainty. Make bold moves and accept failure as part of progress, not something to avoid. Sound familiar? In other words, if you're always comfortable, you're always falling behind. He also says that he doesn't talk about small goals much because he doesn't believe in them. Here's a CEO of Ripple. Look Ripple up. It's huge. When some of those acquisitions were billions of dollars, not little acquisitions, billions of dollars. So instead, he teaches this. When you chase too many small things, you win at none of them. You're much better off to chase one big thing than many small things, okay? And he believes leaders should aim at transformational goals, not easy wins. And lastly, his core leadership message in plain English, you can sum it up right here. Playing it safe kills innovation. Small goals do not stretch people. Risk creates growth. Focus creates impact. And failure is tuition for success. You will pay tuition for success every time you fail, but that's how you learn. It is well worth it, but you've got to be willing to fail. All right? That's Brad Garlinghouse. That's a true leader. And one day you will know his name, you will know his face, because this is where we're going. Get on board or get lost, basically, or you wish you would have. All right, my final point here. Aiming high honors your potential. You have a lot of potential. You just have to use it. I was told that growing up in school. Greg does not apply himself. He has potential, but he doesn't use it. I had to learn. And you can learn at any age. God did not design us to think small. He made our brains have more capacity than any computer and any AI available. You know, we only use a small percentage of it. We were built for growth, we were built for influence, and we were built for impact. Aiming high isn't arrogance. It's part of stewardship. Managing someone's property. I have to manage myself. God has given us free will. I manage myself. It's part of stewardship. I choose to aim high. You don't honor God by playing small with the gifts that he gave us. We're just scratching the surface on some of the gifts he gave us because we let fear get in the way. And we were not given the spirit of fear. That's biblical. I talk about it often. So I'm going to challenge you and leave you with this. Evaluate your goals. Are they too small? What have you been settling for? Why are you aiming so low? What's holding you back for aiming high? And raise that bar. Aim high. Think bigger. Expect more from yourself. You have the capability. You have the potential. The ceiling you accept in life, you become. The ceiling you accept in life, you live. As always, hit that like button for me. It really helps. And please leave me a comment. That really helps too. As always, carry on. God bless. Make this day the best day of your life because we're not promised tomorrow. I'll see you later.